Hello, Grade 3 pupils. Welcome to the Grade 3 class. In this lesson, you are going to learn how to write a short paragraph providing another ending for a story listened to. Through this module, you will gain knowledge on describing, drawing, and do practice activities that will help you. After working on this module, you will be able to do the following. First, identify the plot of the story. Next, determine the parts of a plot. Then, sequence the events of the story. Predict outcomes of the story. And write another ending of the story. Let us now begin our learning. What I know. Now, let us answer the questions. Number 1. What do you call the element of a story which has a beginning, middle, and ending part? Is it A. Character, B. Plot, or C. Setting? Very good. It is plot. Number 2. Which part of the plot introduces the characters and the setting of the story? Is it A. Beginning, B. Middle, or C. Ending? Very good. That is beginning. Number 3. Arrange the sentences telling the events of a story. Write the keywords first, then, next, afterwards, and finally on the blanks. First sentence. Angela gave some cookies to her classmates. She gave her visitors chocolate lollipops and souvenirs before the visitors went home. Angela sent Hello Kitty invitations to her friends and relatives. Her friends went to her house after class. And here are the correct answers for each sentence. Next, Angela gave some cookies to her classmates. Finally, she gave her visitors chocolate lollipops and souvenirs before the visitors went home. First, Angela sent Hello Kitty invitations to her friends and relatives. Then, her friends went to her house after class. Number 4. What will happen next? Write the letter with the correct answer. Richard is texting while walking. There is an open manhole at the street. He was almost near the open manhole. What do you think will happen next? A. He will be okay. B. He will fall. Or C. He will be happy. Very good. He will fall. Number 5. What is the best ending for the short story? It's Clara's birthday. Dad is having a party for her. He wrapped a present and bought a cake at the store. All Clara needs to do was A. Wash the car, B. Blow the candle, or C. Cook dinner. Very good. Blow the candle. In module number 2, You learned about writing a paragraph, describing the characters and setting of the story. Let us find out if you can still remember how to do it. Read the paragraph, then choose the letter of the best answer. Soup for recess. It is recess time. Jen is in the canteen. Jen is so hungry. There are lots of kids waiting in line. She patiently stands in line to buy her favorite food. She smiles at the vendor and gives her money. She sits with her classmates and eats her chicken soup. After eating, she puts the plate in the sink and happily thanks the canteen helper. Number 1. How would you describe the character in the story? A. Jen is beautiful and smart. B. Jen is patient and kind. Or C. Jen is noisy and clumsy. Very good. Jen is patient and kind. Number 2. Where does the story happen? A. In the restaurant. B. In the mall. Or C. In the school. Very good. In the school. Number 3. How would you describe the setting of the story? A. Soup for recess. B. Recess time. Or C. Jen and her classmates. Very good. It's recess time. Number 4. When does the story happen? A. During flag racing. B. During recitation time. Or C. During recess time. Very good. It's during recess time. Number 5. How did the story end? A. Jen puts the plate on the table. B. Jen gives the plate to the canteen helper. Or C. Jen puts her plate in the sink. Very good. Jen puts her plate in the sink. It's reading time! What a wonderful learnings we had in Module 2 last time. Writing a paragraph is so easy because you are guided with the tips and rules on how to do it. Describing the characters and the setting of the story was the focus of our learning last time. This time, we will talk about the plot of the story and we will discuss all about it in this lesson. But before that, another story will bring us the wonders of learning today. The story is entitled Stone Soup. Oops! Before we move on to our story, let us answer the questions first. Let us just try if you can make the right prediction. First question. What do you think Stone Soup's story is all about? Second, is there really a stone soup? And third, have you tasted a stone soup? I have some pictures here that will help you understand some of the unfamiliar words that you may encounter while reading the story. The first one is village. It is a group of houses and associated buildings larger than a hamlet and smaller than a town, situated in a rural area. The next one is pot. Pot is a container used for storage or cooking. The third one is A stone. Stone is a hard, solid, non-metallic mineral matter of which rock is made. And the last one is villagers. These are the people who live in a village. Now you are going to watch a story about a traveler in a village. Take note of the events that happen in the story. Pay attention to how the story begins and how it ends. Are you ready?
Once upon a time, there were two storytellers called Matthew and Liam. They traveled from village to village, telling the most exciting stories you've ever heard. But one day, they ran out of food and soon became very hungry. So they knocked on the door of a house in the village. "Could we have some food for our cooking pot?" asked Matthew. "We are very hungry," said Liam. "No," said the villager. "Go away. I will not give you any food for your cooking pot." Matthew and Liam tried knocking on other doors in the village, asking for food for their cooking pot. But all the villagers said no. Matthew and Liam were very hungry and very sad. Suddenly, Matthew and Liam had an idea. Matthew filled up the cooking pot with water from the river, whilst Liam made a fire. Matthew then picked up a stone and dropped it into the cooking pot. After a few minutes, a villager walked past. "What are you doing?" asked the villager. "We're making stone soup," said Liam. "Yes," said Matthew, "but it still needs some more seasoning to taste just right." "I have some carrots," said the villager. "If I put them in the pot, could I have some soup when it's ready?" "Of course," said Liam, and the villager dropped the carrots into the cooking pot. After a few minutes, another villager walked past. "What are you doing?" asked the villager. "We're making stone soup," said Liam. "Yep," said Matthew, "but it still needs some more seasoning to taste just right." "I have some tomatoes," said the villager. "If I put them into the pot, could I have some soup when it's ready?" "Of course," said Liam, and the villager dropped the tomatoes into the cooking pot. After a few minutes, another villager walked past.
"What are you doing?"
asked the villager. "We're making stone soup," said Liam. "Yeah," said Matthew, "but it still needs some more seasoning to taste just right."
"I have some turnips,"
said the villager.
"If I put them in the pot, could I have some soup when it's ready?"
"Of course," said Liam, and the villager dropped the turnips into the cooking pot. Soon the soup was ready, and it smelled delicious. Matthew took out the stone and threw it into the river. Liam poured the soup into bowls for themselves and the villagers. And they all sat down together to enjoy some delicious stone soup. The end.
In your lesson today, you will learn about plot as an element of the story. In this element of the story, you will learn about the main idea of the story, which will make you more interested to listen to the story or to watch the story. The three main parts of the story are the characters, the setting, and plot. However, the focus is on the plot. Plot is the sequence of events in the story. Plot has three main parts that always takes place in a sequence order. And here are the three main parts of a plot: the beginning, the middle, and ending. The beginning. This is where the setting and characters are introduced and and reveals the conflict in the story. The characters and the setting are being described here. For example, the beginning part in the story, Soup for Recess, is Jen in a long line waiting to buy her food. The conflict in the story is a long wait in the line while Jen is hungry. Next is the middle. The middle part of the story is composed of the following: the rising action, climax, and falling action. The rising action, this is where the characters encounter some problems that create tension. Example, the long line in the canteen. The second one is the climax. This is where the characters deal with the events in the story. The characters face their most difficult situations in the story. For example, Jen is so hungry, but she has to wait in the long line. She smiles at the school canteen despite her hunger. And lastly, in the middle part of a plot is the falling action. This is where the climax ends, giving details about the consequences, whether good or bad, that the characters must deal with after the climax. For example, Jen is able to eat her favorite chicken soup with her classmates. The third and last part of a plot is the ending. It tells what happens to the character after the problem in the story has been resolved. Some stories have happy endings, others have sad endings. The ending often gives the readers a lesson or moral so they can understand the fate of the characters. For example, Jen shows patience in buying food from the canteen and helps the school in maintaining cleanliness in school. Plots of the story should never be interchanged because proper sequencing of events in the story makes it more meaningful to read or listen to. Sequence refers to the identification of the parts of a story, the beginning, middle, and end. Sequencing events requires specific orders as they occur in the story. There are cue words or sequence signals such as first, then, next, later, afterwards, and finally will help you determine the order of events. We must look closely for the story details and how the events take place. Both the time and the space order will help us arrange the events in a story you listen to easily. Now let's try this. Sequence the events as it happened in the story. Write the letter of your answer on the blank. I will pause for a minute to give you time to answer. Okay, now let us check if your answers are correct. Number 1, first, Jen is in the school canteen. Number 2, then Jen is so hungry. 3, next, Jen waits patiently in the line. Number 4, afterwards, Jen enjoyed her favorite chicken soup. And number 5, finally, Zen helps in maintaining cleanliness in school. Before you listen to the story Stone Soup, you were asked to give predictions in our Let's Try number 1. Did you have the right predictions? Were your answers correct? You don't need to worry if you have right or wrong answers. You were just encouraged to think ahead. Predicting outcomes is guessing about what will happen next in a story. It makes a reader good in connecting to the story he or she read or listened to. With this skill of predicting outcome, you can improve your comprehension skills. How should we predict outcomes in a story? Here are the tips. First, identify all the possible outcomes or things that might happen, and then give your prediction. Sometimes, prediction will depend on your prior knowledge and experiences. If you can relate to the story or situation, you have the higher chance of giving the possible wise and smart predictions. Let's try this. Matthew and Leah put water and stone in a pot and started to boil it. Now, what do you think will likely to happen if the villagers will not help? What will happen to Matthew and Leah? Remember, answering these questions will help you predict the outcome very easily. Now, in What Is It? Let us start our lesson about writing a short paragraph, providing another ending to the story you listen to. You have to take notes of the things that you should do. Number 1. Study what the character says or does and look at how the events are connected during the development of the story. Number 2. Make sure that when you are asked to provide your own ending of the story you listen to or you watch, it must be logical, meaning valid or true. In this way, your creativity comes out. Number 3. Put a surprise at the ending. Put something that will amaze the readers. Or you may leave to a reader something that is unforgettable. And number 4, there are things you should not do when giving another ending of a story which you have read or listened to. Like, don't write a new information or ending that is not related to the story. Don't make an ending that is not connected to the climax of the story. Now, let us try to make a 3 to 4 sentence paragraph as an ending of a story. Look at the picture. What do you think will happen on the third picture? Using the pictures to form another ending, don't forget the rules and tips you have in the Module 2 in writing a paragraph. There are many ways to write an ending of a story. You can make it sad or a happy ending. Here's example number 1, entitled Unhealthy Food. Mark loves to eat junk foods. He eats more of it every day. He doesn't like to eat fruits and vegetables. One day, his mother is crying. Now, look at the group of words that is written in red. Mark is seriously sick. This is the possible ending of the story. ending is sad. Here's the example number 2. Look at the ending of the same story. Unhealthy food. Mark loves to eat junk foods. He eats more of it every day. He doesn't like to eat fruits and vegetables. One day, his mother is crying. Now, look at the ending of the story. Mark promised his mom that he will not eat junk foods anymore. What is the ending? Is it sad or happy? Very good. It is a happy ending. Now that you know how to provide another ending of a story, I think you are now ready for the activities leading to the development of the skills you need to learn in this lesson. Are you now ready? Let us answer the activities that will practice your knowledge and skill on writing a short paragraph, providing another ending of the story listened to. Activity 1, Plot in Pot. After listening to the story Stone Soup, let us know its plot. Number 1. What are included in the beginning part of a story? A. Characters and setting. B. The conflicts. C. Both A and B. Very good. It is the characters and setting. Number 2. What is the climax of the story? Is it A. Nobody wanted to help Matthew and Liam? B. Everybody wanted to help the boys? Or C. The boys are dying? Very good. It's everybody wanted to help the boys. Number 3. What was the conflict in the story? Is it A. Liam and Matthew ran out of water to drink? B. Liam and Matthew ran out of food to eat? C. Liam and Matthew ran out of money to buy food? Very good. It's Liam and Matthew ran out of food to eat. Number 4. What happened at the middle of the story? Is it A. Matthew filled the cooking pot with water and put a stone in it while Liam made a fire? B. Matthew knocked at the door while Liam asked for food? C. Matthew cooked the food while Liam ate the food? Very good. It's Matthew filled the cooking pot with water and put a stone in it while Liam made a fire. Number 5. How did the story end? Is it A. Liam and Matthew ate nothing and died in hunger? B. Liam and Matthew cooked delicious food with the help of the villagers? C. Liam and Matthew went home sad and tired? Very good. Liam and Matthew cooked delicious food with the help of the villagers. Now, let us move on to activity 2. In the story Stone Soup, let us try to sequence the events in order. Write the sequence signals to arrange the events. Use first, then, next, later, or afterwards, and Finally, Blanc, while traveling from village to village, Matthew and Liam ran out of food to eat. Blanc, Matthew filled the cooking pot with water and put a stone in it, and they started to boil the stove. Blanc, they knocked at the doors and asked for food, but nobody wanted to help them. Blanc, Matthew, and Liam were able to eat the soup together with the villagers. They were so happy. Blanc, the villagers saw them and shared their ingredients in cooking a delicious soup. Now let us check if your answers are all correct. First, while traveling from village to village, Matthew and Liam ran out of food to eat. Next, Matthew filled the cooking pot with water and put a stone in it, and they started to boil the stove. Then, they knocked at the doors and asked for food, but nobody wanted to help them. Finally, Matthew and Liam were able to eat the soup together with the villagers. They were so happy. Later or afterward, the villagers saw them and shared their ingredients in cooking a delicious soup. Now, in Activity 3, choose an ending. Read each story beginning, then shade the circle of the sentence that makes the most sense of ending. Number 1. My sister Doris gets her phone. Scroll the screen and pick an application. I heard her talking to the rider about the pizza flavors. She then gets her wallet and waits outside the door of our house. Doris is very good, waiting for the Grab rider delivery. Next, number 2. Mother gets the bowl, 2 pieces of egg, salt, and stirrer. She puts the pan on the stove. She pours some oil. Mother is very good, making scrambled fried eggs for me. Number 3. Charles was walking home from school. He found a wallet full of money. He remembered what his teacher is always telling, that honesty is the best policy. So, yes, he tried to find the owner of the wallet. Number 4. Ella woke up to a heavy rain. She checked the Marikina PIO update for classes advisory. It says, no suspension of classes today. So Ella yes, prepares her things for school. For the last number, I want you to rewrite the paragraph and write your own ending for the story. Use the paper sheets provided for you. Number 5. Mother bought food from the market. When she came home, your sister sprayed some alcohol, prepared the water and towel. Mother will Okay, the answers here may vary. It depends on how you experience it. What I have learned. In this lesson, we focused on writing a short paragraph where you provide another ending of the story you listen to. It is important to remember that the three main elements of the story are the characters, the setting, and plot. Plot is composed of the beginning, the middle, and the end parts of the story. The ending of the story tells what happens to the character after the problem in the story has been resolved. Some stories have happy endings, others have sad endings. The ending often gives the readers a lesson or moral so they can understand the fate of the characters. Sequencing of events refers to the identification of the parts of a story, the beginning, middle, and end, and also the ability to retell the events. Sequencing events requires a specific order as they occur in the story. There are few words or sequence signals such as first, then, next, later, afterwards, and finally will help you determine the order of events. Prediction is guessing about what will happen in the story. Predicting an outcome is a skill which can help you form a valid ending for a story which you have read or listened to. In What I Can Do, you are going to listen or watch another story entitled The Boy Who Cried Wolf. These are the vocabulary words that will help you understand the unfamiliar words that you may encounter while reading the story. The first one is the shepherd. Next is the wolf. And the last one is the sheep. Now, let us all watch the story, The Boy Who Cried Wolf, quietly. Are you ready? Now it's time for you to apply what you have learned on how to write a short paragraph, providing another ending of the story by doing this activity. Rewrite the story in your own words on the sheet of paper provided here for you, and think of another ending for the story you listened to. You may choose to make a happy ending or a sad ending. Use 3 to 5 sentences in forming a short paragraph. Good luck! And for the assessment, showcase the knowledge and skills you have learned in this lesson by answering the assessment activity. Write in your own words a 3 to 4 sentence paragraph on the paper sheets provided. Write your new ending for the short story. Follow the rules in writing a short paragraph. We have 3 items in the assessment. Number 1, Baste heard that tomorrow their barangay will be under community quarantine. He told his mom about it. His dad prepared the water gallons and refilled it with water. His mom went to market to buy food. Number 2, Yael's father came from Cebu. He brought many packs of dried mango sweets. The next day, Yael happily went to school and told his classmates. And number 3, Ellie and his friends were playing basketball in the school playground. It was Ellie's turn to hit the ball. The ball flew up into the air and went towards the classroom's glass window. And the last part of our module is the additional activities. Write in your own words a 3 to 4 sentence paragraph on the paper sheets provided. Write your new ending for the short story. Follow the rules in writing a short paragraph. And here's the story. Kyla is kind and generous to her classmates. She shares her food and offers help to those who need it. Secretly, her teacher told her classmates that tomorrow is Kyla's birthday. And that's all for our 3rd grade Quarter 1 Module 3. Write a short paragraph providing another ending for a story listened to. Thank you very much for watching, and thank you to the development team of this module from the Division of Marikina City.